Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cult Classic Podcast. Cameron Jones here along with my co-host,
Mark Nussle.
Jordan Jones.
Not a cult movie, but definitely a classic. We're doing the 1993 movie, Jurassic Park. Huge advancements in science have allowed mogul John Hammond to create a theme park full of living dinosaurs. After inviting his grandchildren and a few experts to join him on the grand tour of the park, things start to go haywire in this Jurassic adventure. With the critical systems and security shut down, it becomes a race for survival with dinosaurs roaming freely. Can they escape from the terrors of Jurassic Park?
From the guy who previously brought you E.T., Jaws, the Indiana Jones movies, and Hook, Spielberg.
It's action-adventure. It's Spielberg in the second part of his last being awesome. Spielberg.
It's a creature movie, essentially, but I mean, it has a little bit of everything.
Starring Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Richard Attenborough, Samuel L. Jackson, Wayne Knight, and Martin Ferrero.
It's got raptors, it's got T-Rexes, it's got Triceratops, it's got brontosauruses, it's got
that one thing that spits tar at you and kills Newman.
A depiction of dinosaurs before we were pretty sure they were just birds.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Must go faster, must go faster.
Alrighty, cast and crew. This is a Steven Spielberg movie. This is right in his pocket of just...
I don't think at this time he's had a miss in like a decade.
Yeah, but so I said it earlier, but yeah, he had done E.T., Hook, Jaws, and Indiana Jones before this one.
And then he follows it up with Schindler's List. So, he's in a pretty tight pocket. I think people don't like Hook unless you're in our age
Hook
group.
might actually have been after this. I can't...
Yeah, Hook was kind
Maybe
of a critic fail, but, they're wrong.
All right, you guys might be able to hear a alarm outside. We live in Chicago, so that's going to happen. I'm going to try to power through this.
It's going to be like hiccups. Once it disappears, you're going to miss it a little bit. You just wanted to do a whole stomp situation here?
Boom, boom, claps. Boom, boom, clap.
Ding, 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 ding.
So this was the novel was written by Michael Crichton. He also wrote Twister and the original Westworld.
And Cameron, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're more of a book guy than the movie, right? You're always like, Jurassic Park, the book is way better.
There we go. It's off now.
Never read it, but because of... I thought about it, but I'll never get around to this. I might someday, but...
Hey, if that guy does he have another book in the works? We could, the three of us, adapt, get on that.
Well, I'm sure there'll be something eventually in the future.
And then David Koepp or Kep did. I've seen that how you pronounce it. He also he did more of the screenplay, but he did. Let me see here.
I think I read a quote. This is a little trickle on Verified that Michael Crichton, whatever, said that about 10% of the plot for my book made it to the movie.
Hey, it's got dinosaurs, doesn't it? Shut up.
They started production on the movie before the release of the book, so they were pretty big hype on that.
Weird.
Yeah.
David Koepp also he's like the screenwriter for it, known for writing Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, Mission Impossible, Indiana Jones, The Crystal Skull, and the Spider-Man directed by Sam Raimi.
Big summertime movies. I mean, big movies.
Yeah. Music by John Williams. He also, in Steven Spielberg movies, did Jaws, Indiana Jones, Hook, E.T.
I mean, we talk about John Williams all the time.
Catch Me If You Can.
You guys, if you're listening to this, you know who he is.
And especially because this movie is one of the most popular, famous John Williams scores. It's up there, and it's like top 5, probably.
Yeah, definitely top 5. On to cast. Sam Neill plays Alan Grant. Dr. Alan Grant.
I don't really know him from much other than this. This was definitely my introduction to him as a kid.
I think he just looks like a couple people, so it makes me think I should know him more than I do.
I mean, he's in other notable works, but truly, this is what I know him from. And there's going to be people who's like, oh, you don't know him from this? We don't.
Yeah.
Move on. Sorry about that, guys. We don't.
Laura Dern plays Ellie. Sort of his trusty sidekick.
I know I've seen her in a lot of things, but nothing's like really coming out as. I mean, obviously this is her number one for me. Her dad is in The Burbs as Rumsfeld.
Oh, Bruce Dern. Didn't know that was her dad.
Yep.
October Sky.
I'd say right, the teacher in October
Sky.
The
teacher.
Ultimately, like a character actor that shows up, this is probably one of her bigger roles, but I'd say she's an all-time stick-arounder. She shows up in a lot, and she's been like acting for 30
That's what I'm
years,
saying.
You know
She's in so many things, but nothing that's like really other than this and now October Sky like popping out.
Yeah. Jeff Goldblum plays Malcolm, the other scientist.
The sexiest scientist on screen.
Go back and watch Independence Day.
I mean, The Fly. I mean, you know who Jeff Goldblum is. We talk about him all the time.
I thought about this. As big as those movies are, I think I know him from being Jeff Goldblum the most nowadays.
Probably Mission
Just
Impossible.
Showing up on Conan.
Nowadays, yeah, not Mission Impossible. Sorry, Independence Day. I would say as a kid though was like our biggest like.
Well, I'd say these two movies were our biggest introductions. The Fly was a little before our time. We've definitely seen that.
And you've never been a big horror creature person, so that was a little like off your radar anyway.
That one's gross. I don't like it, but I respect Jeff Goldblum, you know.
Richard Attenborough.
Mark, you're big on his jazz music, though, right? You got a couple of his LPs, some vinyls. Okay, just me? All right.
Never listened to it, but I respect the fact that he does it.
Richard Attenborough plays Hammond. He's the kind of the owner of the park.
To me, and I think to the three of us collectively, this is a sweet spot of his career for us. It was this and Miracle on 34th Street in a 2-year span.
I like The Great Escape. He's like a lot younger
that's true.
in that movie, obviously. But
yeah.
Bob Peck plays Muldoon. I don't really know him from anything.
He's just Muldoon to me.
Yeah, Martin Ferrero plays Gennaro, which is kind of funny. Just Airbud World Pup. Airbud World Pup.
Is that anything past the original Air Bud? I'm unfamiliar, and I'm pretty unfamiliar with the original Air Bud. So
he's in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I just know that from looking it up. I don't remember him from that.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen. I wouldn't.
B.D. Wong plays Wu. He's Shang in Mulan.
B.D. Wong's been in a bunch of shit over the years, but the only person in the franchise to continue and make it back. So good for him.
Yeah, he's in Jurassic World. That's right. Little Timmy played by Joseph Mazzello.
He's a kid actor in something else. What is it?
Star Kid.
Simon Birch, or is it something else too like that? Or
like 1997.
I can give you a trickle up unverified about him.
Sure.
He auditioned for Hook, and Steven Spielberg's like, oh, you're good, but I'm not going to use you for Hook, but don't worry, I got you. I'm going to put you in Jurassic Park.
And he hooked him up.
He was a little too young. He was a little too young to be one of the.
So Hook is before Jurassic Park. Got it.
I vaguely remember that fact from Hook. Funny enough,
he's one of Zuckerberg's college roommates in the Social Network. He's like one of the hackers or something.
Cool. So he continued to act.
Good for him.
His sister Lex is played by Ariana Richards. She is in Tremors. Go back and listen to Tremors.
Is she?
Yep.
Is she the girl in the pogo? She's the girl then?
She's the girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson plays Arnold.
I mean, obviously, once again, you know who Samuel L. Jackson is, and I know we've talked about him at some point on this podcast. So,
but what's interesting about this movie, he hasn't blown up yet, and he's about to make Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction in like a year, the next year, and
true.
Be the Samuel L. Jackson we know.
Do not remember him smoking so much in this movie, but we'll touch on that in a little later.
Wayne Knight plays Nedry.
You're gonna know him from Newman, and then sneaky shout out as the public relations guy in.
No, he's not.
What are you talking about?
You're about to say Big Daddy?
No, I'm about to say Space Jam. Why don't you shut your mouth and let me finish my sentence?
I thought he was. I thought you were gonna be the guy from.
Sorry. In Rat Race. It says Dirty Dancing here. I don't really remember him in that, but it's been a section.
There's no way he could go unnoticed. He's always looked like
no, for sure. Gerald R. Mullen plays Harding.
Harding. Who's Harding?
I don't know actually. I wrote that for a reason. Hold on. Oh, it's the lawyer.
The
Guy.
lawyer? The lawyer.
Oh, the lawyer. I did not recast the lawyer.
He produced the movie. That's why I wrote it. He produced this movie. He's in a couple other. He's in Catch Me If You Can. So that's
he has a familiar face, kind of, but like he's always like a character actor, side character.
He produced Schindler's List and Rain Man, so just notable producer, I guess. I have one kind of fun one, or a couple fun ones. The helicopter pilot also is just a helicopter pilot in a couple other movies. I think it's like Swordfish or something.
Is he a real helicopter pilot, and they're just actually using him?
He's just a pilot.
So he was the '90s pilot at the time in movies. Dope.
Yeah. Tom Mishler, and then Greg Burson, Mr. DNA from the little tour video.
Oh right, yeah.
He's Yogi Bear, and I think like Elmer Fudd in Space Jam or something like that.
Solid. 2 Space Jam alums in this movie.
Yep. And that about wraps it up.
Big movie, big cast, but a lot of people we've touched on before. So I mean, if you really want to hear us talk about some of these people, go back and listen to some of our previous episodes. Let's move it on to Unverified. Okay, welcome back to Unverified, and welcome back to the Cult Classic Movie Phone. The date is June 11th, 1993, and currently in theaters you could have seen The Firm with Tom Cruise, Sleepless in Seattle, a Jones favorite.
Boo.
Garwood.
Seattle sucks.
Really?
Yeah, I hate that one.
Garwood, Prisoner of War with Martin Sheen and Ralph Macchio. This is post-Karate Kid and Ralph Macchio teen trying to work some stuff out. Dennis the Menace movie.
Saw that in the Manchester Theater.
Oh. Last Action Hero with Swartz.
Never seen that one.
I did recently, funny enough. And Life with Mikey with Michael J. Fox. But you chose, I was about to say The Firm, but you chose Jurassic Park.
I think we made the right choice.
I think you made the right choice.
You did. You might have seen a few of those later, rental VHS, but you went to see Jurassic Park.
Firm's not bad.
So just off the bat, this movie has a million facts and a million sources to find. There's so many documentaries, the movies that made us, just BuzzFeed. So, we're here for commentary, not facts. So we'll give you a couple, but we'll get through this quickly. What do you guys have?
I just like to spit this out, and this is straight from Wikipedia. June 9th release.
Is that the Rick and Morty version of Wikipedia?
You were about to get a mutiny on your hand here. This is from Wikipedia. Oh boy, Rick. Oh geez, Rick. Here you go now. $63 million budget, and this is, I assume, still growing. The box office was $1.46 billion.
Huh.
Does that mean all of them? I don't know what the
I don't
first
know.
run
That's
was.
quite.
Oh yeah,
huge,
no,
but-
that's lifetime gross. I looked at that earlier. I'm like, holy fuck.
Okay,
So
that makes
it did
a
okay
ton of
for
sense.
itself. But
Let me.
in the King, I just want to say the release date because it's June 9th, just perfect blockbusters.
I
when
have
they
June
existed.
11th. Is what we
Mark,
just.
what
it's
do you
right
have? The tiebreaker.
10th.
Well,
And Cameron, did you look at Wikipedia or what was your source?
Yeah, Wikipedia seems real reliable.
Okay, all right, that's what I got. It made
Jordan,
money.
off your it actually held the box office record until it was beaten out by Titanic. And do you guys know the current record holder?
yeah, something just beat it, but I forget what it is. What is it?
It didn't just beat it.
Was it Avatar?
I assume
Yes,
it had
it's
to be.
Avatar.
Was it Avatar still?
Yeah,
But something
Titanic
just
is
beat
still
Avatar,
like 3.
I think. I thought something beat that recently.
I'm just using Wikipedia. So
Okay, that's fair.
We're on Rick, Cameron. Oh, jeez.
So this is just a terrifying fact that I always kind of knew. But so I knew that they had a lot of robot malfunctions with the T-Rex because it was a rain scene, and they tested it in a dry warehouse and never considered that the hydraulics and electronics might go haywire. So just occasionally while they were filming and on break, the T-Rex would move on its own and start jerking and going haywire. But that's a big, dangerous animatronic to just come alive and be out of control. So that must have been super dangerous and terrifying to actually film with.
I think there was a snafu while shooting with the kids, and that glass came down way harder on them than they expected to when the T-Rex goes through the sunroof.
I can imagine. It looks not fun,
along that same line, generally speaking, any shot of a full dinosaur was CGI, but the shots when it was just part of a dinosaur, that's all animatronics or practical.
And it's better. It's better.
It is better.
It's
Yeah.
just way better.
And even honestly, the CGI still looks good.
Yeah,
to me.
it's not bad. But in kind of the lore behind that is the CGI team made a huge promise that they could do all this live motion dinosaur, and it was a huge leap in CGI at the time. But they actually didn't know if they could do it, so they kind of if you watch the movies that made us, it's actually really interesting on how the CGI team is essentially inventing all these lighting techniques and revolutionizing CGI just in order to meet these deadlines that they promised they could do that they kind of couldn't. But look, watch that documentary; it's very interesting. We kind of talked about this a second ago, but Michael Crichton, well, whatever those are right. He sold the rights, which were non-negotiable, of $1.5 million before the book was published, as well as a percentage in the gross. He already just had hit books before that, so they expected that it would be a hit. So there were multiple people actually optioning and trying to buy the rights to this book before anyone had read it, which is nuts.
I gotta appreciate this Michael Crichton guy going, collecting his bag.
He was essentially writing the 90s books that became movies, and then later we got Dan Brown.
Apparently the movie and book generated so much interest in dinosaurs that the study of paleontology had a record increase in just students.
It's got to be up there with Top Gun records of propaganda movies that just inspired a bunch of people to get into a career path.
Yeah.
This is just like that.
And right after Titanic, Jordan started drawing so many nudes, remember?
I did a lot of old lady nudes.
French girls.
All right, now take a guess
Old
here.
French ladies.
What animals do you think are comprised to make the Tyrannosaurus Rex roar? Oh, it's about 4.
I got a lion in there for sure.
It's a tiger. Yeah,
Tiger. Okay.
big cat. We got we got a tiger. We got a dog.
Humpback whale.
An alligator gurgle, and a baby elephant squeal.
Oh, I was gonna say elephant for sure.
Here's the disturbing part. They had a baby elephant and they were trying to coax noises out of it. And the trainer said, we've never heard it make that noise before. So
what are they doing to it?
I don't know, man. But so that's what it is. And apparently it's mostly the baby elephant giving us the low ends of the noise we're getting.
God, what were they doing to it?
I don't know, man.
The sound of the T-Rex footsteps were created by cut sequoias crashing to the ground. Oh. They really dug deep on the creativity for these sounds.
Foley team had a heyday, though. They had to make so many noises if you think about it.
They had to cut down whole forests of sequoia trees.
That's the sound of deforestation. They didn't do anything with them. They just cut them down. It's like, it's a great sound. We got to do it.
Speaking of deforestation and someone who just keeps making Fern Gully, James Cameron was slated. He was bidding for the rights to this movie as well. And he was up for the rights to the Michael Crichton book, but he went on to do Aliens instead. But he has said that it's much better that Spielberg did it because he would have made it more of a horror, like Aliens version of Jurassic Park. And he says that would have been unfair because,
I'd be curious to see that.
It would have been terrifying, but he says that would have been unfair because children relate to dinosaurs, and that would have been, horrific.
I'm sure it would have been
necessarily
good.
Like, what is this a PG movie?
Probably.
We gotta be PG-13.
Maybe 13. There's some blood.
Scary.
There's
blood. The kids are.
It's not like necessarily like a kids movie by any means.
It's like
I get what he's saying.
Family-friendly movie, though. Wouldn't you say? You go see it with your
It's an adventure movie.
Action adventure.
True, sure is.
It's a Spielberg movie, Yeah. He doesn't have too many R's in his arsenal.
Schindler's List?
Yeah, I would assume that, like Munich or something. A lot of the ones you forget about that aren't Schindler's List.
Despite being called Jurassic Park, I think we all knew this growing up, but most of this takes place in the crustacean period.
That was always sorry, so I guess I gotta cross off like my biggest animosity with the movie.
This actually goes all the way back to the book, though, and when people ask Michael Crichton why he did that, he's like, well, the logo looked better, and the graphics team just went with that.
It's an all-time font. I love the font. Who doesn't?
All-time font.
Classic.
It might be its own font.
It's the Jurassic Park font. Yeah, whenever you see that, that's what it's called.
Solid font. Can't get over that.
Ariana Richards kind of got screwed over here. They made a bunch of action figures for the movie, and she wasn't one of them. They even made like a Muldoon.
Yeah, they made Muldoon, Malcolm, everybody. She's the only one they didn't make.
Yeah.
I think that Hammond, that everybody.
They have Newman?
So
they have Newman in there?
I think so. I mean, how else are you going to sell the lizard thing that has the spitting thing? You got to have the set.
That's true. That was rough.
Sam Neill, who plays Dr. Grant, injured his hand lighting the flare in the iconic T-Rex scene. According to him, some of the phosphorus just leaked out of it and got under his watch and were taking chunks out of his arm during that.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so quite a horrific burn in that scene.
I do believe the Must Go Faster was improvised by Jeff Goldblum.
Mm-hmm. And if you go to our Independence Day movie, you can...
He added that as well.
They later added it in there because they liked it so much.
In 2005, paleontologist Dr. Mary Schweitzer discovered red blood cells and soft tissue in the fossilized bones of a T-Rex, meaning dinosaur cloning may someday become a reality.
Ooh. I have been hearing that we're going to make a mammoth for the last few years, but it never comes through. Touching on another movie we did, go back and watch Spaceballs. All the merchandise shown in the movie was at some point actually sold as merchandise.
Awesome.
Everything in the movie.
Awesome.
Yeah, isn't that fun? I have 2 dinosaur facts I have to say. I watched this with friend of the pod, Chris Reimer, and he had a few things to say about dinosaur facts. And number 1, the Dilophosaurus, the one that spits the venom with the...
Dilophosaurus?
Dilophosaurus.
Yeah, you heard it.
At the time, there was a lot added to the filming. It probably didn't have the little frills that pop out. Spielberg added that, and it probably didn't spit venom. They just thought it was so... they thought it would be too light to actually take down big prey, so they just assumed that. So all the scary features of that thing are made up.
They added to it? Oh, then it's a cute dinosaur outside of that.
It's just a big iguana. It's just a big lizard, essentially.
So that was the Dilophosaurus, and then what was the other one? Vibrarex? Or something?
No. Well, the other one that Chris Reimer also wanted to point out, raptors in real life are only 1 to 3 feet tall, depending on the species, and But Spielberg hated that because he wanted them to be menacing. He's like, well, we need it to be at least 10 feet tall. But funny enough, right after this movie was released, then a species of raptor was found that was about 10 feet tall that pretty much matched the description of Spielberg's. And they jokingly almost called it Raptorus Spielbergus.
Yeah, they also found it by an umbrella company of like Amblin Inc.
Spielberg.
You know?
Yeah, or it was something very similar to that. It was like Raptorus Spielberg's. Spielbergese or something.
Are
like that.
they clever girls though? Do we know that?
They were much more like. Well, it's also at the time they hint at it at the beginning of the movie that they would have been much more bird-like. Now we know from Discovery Channel, History Channel, whatever new documentaries that they pretty much were just big birds, and they touch on that in the new movies too. Now that like whatever, we're using lizards.
Cool. All right, I'm good. I got no more facts.
I have a couple more. I've got the Triceratops dung didn't smell at all. It was made of clay, mud, and straw, and was drizzled with a topping of honey and papaya, so flies wouldn't swarm around.
Yeah, it was a sweet-smelling pile of shit.
Yeah, sweet smelling.
Huge, sweet-smelling pile of shit.
Again, this movie has a million facts.
There's so many.
But there's so many sources out there, so go find those sources. But if you want to hear some commentary,
we didn't touch on.
You're in luck, because we're moving on to questions.
Comments.
Animosities.
Questions, comments, animosity.
Question, comment, animosity. Just to start it off, I watched this as a kid. I mean, obviously 93, but I just totally didn't understand any of the plot, the scientist, the lawyer, why they were there.
The same thing.
So I'm glad we all wrote this down. I didn't know. I didn't think there was a snafu. Can someone go over the plot point that we all missed? This is even a bigger thing than Kevin McAllister throwing that ticket away. I didn't know why any of this fucking happened. It was Newman's character.
I thought Newman was a good guy. Yeah, I really thought he was helping out the cause.
Just got screwed over and killed.
Yeah, I thought he was going to like start a generator, but it turns out someone explained this in better detail.
First off, I didn't understand as a kid that the lawyer, Grant, and Ellie were there as essentially as an insurance policy because someone just died at the park before it opened. Didn't understand
that. They got eaten.
Yeah, I understood that as a scene that someone died, but I didn't understand the whole insurance lawyers thing. Yep. So then on top of that, the whole plot is just corporate espionage where Newman from Seinfeld is stealing embryos and trying to sneak them away. And that I remember the dope Barbasol can that stuck out as a kid for
that
sure.
Was cool.
But I question
that though.
It's so funny you guys thought that.
What he's sneaking out in the Barbasol can is dinosaur DNA. Did you know that?
No.
Did you fucking know that? Because I didn't remember that.
I had no idea.
I just thought. No idea.
In my defense, 93, I was 3 best case scenario. So, I just knew that they were dinosaurs.
No, he just gets almost $1 million right up front just to do this job, which I don't know if anybody knows that he can pull off or not.
Though, I will say, Newman was warning him the entire time, you're really not paying me enough. And it does seem like Hammond was just being like, hey, I'm not going to have this conversation.
Being a little cheapskate.
He didn't value him. He should have paid the tech guy.
Yeah.
Do you think that they were running on, at least in this dry run, like small open for family and friends, real small staff? I'm counting like 10 people tops that I saw on this island.
It seems like there's a Deep Blue Sea moment at the beginning. Maybe there's a storm coming, so a lot of people might be leaving.
People bounce. But that's a whole big plot point that I didn't understand either.
I didn't get that feel, really.
Yeah, I didn't get the whole ship, and I didn't get that either.
So maybe now that's what was happening, but it seems like a very small crew, which is good because they all would have died.
So
I still actually kind of had to rewind a couple times. Like, wait, what? That's what this is? That's what we're doing here?
It turns out none of us remembers the first 35 minutes of this movie until they get to like maybe going through.
We remember when we saw the first
hatched.
dinosaur. Yeah, we remember the Brontosaurus. Maybe the scene with the helicopter because that's kind of action packed. That's kind of where my memory comes in as a kid. Is Hammond
jump around from like Costa Rica to the mines of Moria to
yeah. There's a little bit going on.
I'm going to write this down, and obviously, if we didn't remember the plot, we weren't going to remember this little moment, but this is for the viewers at home. Hammond, who's running the Jurassic Park theme park, he's just leasing the property. Don't you think that's pretty crazy that he wouldn't straight out buy it?
What, the island? Well, Jordan, he's spending so much money, no expenses on everything else, that he has to save a little money on the land purchase.
I know, but what happens when they're like, hey, you can't have this land anymore now that we know you have dinosaurs?
It turns out dinosaurs live there, then someone else buys it out like a couple generations later and does the same damn thing. Which I do have a question about that. So it's the same island, and I know we're kind of jumping to the later movies, but like, did they just wrangle all the dinosaurs on that island to build a new park in the same spot? Like, we kind of see the old Jurassic Park in that movie. Did they just I don't know, have armed guards around construction to build new area and then be like, well, don't go out in the jungle. It is terrifying out there.
It is dinosaur
It
crazy.
is just nuts out there.
I don't have the answer for that because I don't think I've seen another Jurassic Park in full.
You definitely saw 2 and 3 at the time. It's just they were far inferior and you don't remember.
I don't think I do.
Yeah, you did. We saw them as a family. We all saw them as a family. They were big movies.
I think I'm confusing that with I might have seen Godzilla.
Sure, yeah. We all saw that too, Jordan. It was a big blockbuster movie. We all saw it.
Okay, moving around. I do have a question now that I've rewatched it in the eye of an adult, and I haven't seen this movie in years. I got a real question. So the 2 paleontologists played by Laura Dern and Sam Neill, wouldn't that be scary? And they sort of touch on it with a line that this will end your career once we know what dinosaurs are really like and we take out all your
Malcolm's
bullshit
like, oh,
speculation.
don't you mean extinct? Yeah, I think they're definitely like, even if they wasn't shutting down, it seems early on the tour, they're like, you haven't thought of the ramifications of what this is going to do, John. Like, to
This
me,
is the end of you.
Yeah,
This is the end of your fucking
I didn't
career.
really get how until this watch how Hammond even convinced them to come to the park. I just thought he'd told them about it, and like they're like, "Oh yeah, let's go check that out." He's going to offer 3 years of funding to their dig site
Which doesn't
for them
sound
just
like
to
that
come
much.
endorse.
Oh, 3
them.
years. I assume it's tough for them to get money. I'll quote Spaceballs on this. They're not doing it for the money. They're doing it for a shitload of money.
True,
you know what I mean?
But at the
We'll
same,
go to Costa
at
Rica
the
and
same
whatever.
time,
Hard to say no to that.
To Mark's point, though, he never tells them where he's taking them or exactly what it is. He just says, I've built a park.
You're gonna like
and it
this.
has to do with your jobs. Okay.
Does Hammond describe at all that I made dinosaurs?
When he gets there, yeah, in great detail.
But not before the park, right?
No, not at all.
No, he's just like it has a lot to do with your job. You're gonna like.
He
this.
just gets him straight on a helicopter, it seems. Yeah, it's insane. It's clearly insane.
Hard to say no to a guy in white linen beachwear.
Oh, dude, that's
Yeah, there's no red flags there. Those guys are always good guys.
when I say the phrase "I want an island suit," I want island wear. I want an island suit. That's what I'm imagining, but like thinner and linen. You know? Oh,
There's no way that you get on that plane. I mean,
helicopter.
1 in a million it's dinosaurs, but 1 in 100 is dinosaurs. 99 times it's we're hunting man. We're hunting.
True. That's
We're
how you
now
get
hunting
lured to
you.
that island.
Come to my murder island.
And now it's the most.
You can
dangerous
go
game.
barefoot in a white linen suit.
Oh, you
go
usually do.
shoeless,
You're
you can go-
beach. You're usually in a leisure area.
Ooh, the most interesting thing is you can do like weird fancy sandals, fancy man sandals.
Fancy sandals. Always a hat of sorts, straw hat.
You got to. Oh, that's part of the game. You got to have some sort of a hat accoutrement to go with it. That's part of it. Comment. I don't want to become a villain, but I would like to own an island, and I think those two kind of go hand in hand.
Who's the Virgin Mobile guy?
Richard Branson.
Is he a villain?
Yeah. As much as all the other billionaires. I mean, they all have the making. They just have one inciting incident, but he's the top 3 villains in the world. We should say Samuel L. Jackson says, hold on to your butts a lot. I didn't count
I
it.
only remember it once.
I only
Yeah,
remember
he says
one.
it 2 or 3 times.
I think it really made an impression on you.
Hold on.
He said, hold on to your butts like 5 times in a 4-minute span. And I do want to say this. I think we made a Mount Rushmore once of coolest on-screen smokers, and he didn't make the list, and it's because I hadn't seen Jurassic Park for a while.
Yeah,
I think he didn't use his hands the entire time with that cigarette, and it was impressive.
That is an animosity of mine. As someone who used to smoke, I didn't ever like a cigarette dangling in my mouth, and it was still like like wafting up my nose.
It's in your
like,
nose,
yeah,
yeah.
it's uncomfortable. In the whole movie, it is just he's breathing like half air, half smoke the entire
he's
time. It's
smoking
crazy.
it down to the filter. He's smoking it down to his fingernails, that guy.
And I kind of looked for it. Not that many continuity errors with it, so I wonder. Good for
Probably
them.
because you're just real life burning through them
them
one
all.
after another.
One touch at the beginning, very beginning, and then we can kind of move past and jump around.
Yeah.
This is a question, really. How did Hammond scamper off the helicopter that quick? They land, and all of a sudden he's like popping champagne in the trailer.
Oh yeah, that actually is
I don't know.
amazing. He did get there. That is he also does.
Oh, you mean on the archeolo- or the
the dig site.
paleontological dig site?
They're like, cut it off. They're like, he's already in the trailer.
So you have weird hobbies when you're that rich, and he's been doing just sleight of hand magic for years. So like that's
Yeah.
part of the whole thing.
I'd say it's more he's got a doctor that shoots him full of pep me up shit and a shot for him. I would assume that's it.
It's a bit of a
Although
Willy.
he moves pretty gingerly the rest of the
Yeah,
time.
watching how slow he moves with that cane.
It's a bit of a Willy Wonka. That's all for show.
Pops up.
Oh,
as a
I do want to
somersault.
say, again, nobody's going to remember this, but I think it's hilarious how he comes with his helicopter and just blows all their sight, like digging shit out of the way.
Just doesn't care. Blatant
I kind of
disregard.
want
Give
to
a
imagine
shit.
that little bit of wind would kind of clear some dust.
Oh my God! There's so
Could
much
have helped
clearing
him
up
out.
now. We can see
Holy
so
shit,
much.
there's a lot of dinosaur bones
Stay
here. This is
here.
amazing.
I just wanted to say, we kind of talk about it, but John Williams hits it out of the park again. Has to be one of his top 5 scores. I'll just go off the bat trying to list them. Harry Potter, Indiana Jones, Superman,
Star Wars.
I forgot about Star Wars. Yeah, there we go.
Star Wars has got to be on there. Superman, the score might be bigger than the movie now, but
yeah, true. Well, especially
and somehow they all really portray like what the movie
French
is
horn,
and what they're going for. I don't know. Crazy.
No, he's able to create a theme for the movie and moments in the movie and callbacks that's, I guess, unparalleled to anybody.
While still having the very John Williams sound, much like Hans Zimmer.
But even
you know who it is.
But you mentioned something earlier, like "Catch Me If You Can." Like that's not really his token sound, but it's still like he does a good job.
Like he creates the theme of a song that's just in this movie. The unveil of the dinosaurs without his, I mean, the visual effects. I believe we'll get into maybe somewhere down the line, or maybe we'll never talk
probably
about it.
Right
I don't
now.
really give a shit.
Comment if you want to.
But without his score, the reveal of the dinosaurs would not hold.
All the gravitas,
yeah. It is. I wouldn't say it's entirely made by his score, but it's definitely heightened.
It's a majestic moment because of it.
I want to say like 60-40.
Yeah,
and you know what? Let's just talk
about
the safe. Let's talk about the effects because that's kind of maybe the worst moment when we really featured the most CGI. It's mostly practical effects for a lot of it, but even the old CGI kind of holds up. The T-Rex raptor fight at the end with CGI blood was not good back then. We weren't good at that.
Anything in the daylight was tough, but the rain scene is amazing.
The rain scene was
amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, that still holds up great. And even
I do want to say that as good as the visual effects were, like the computer animation, it's still not as good as the practical effects with the close-up shots.
100%. No, of course not. But
I still just miss that.
But for being like,
for 1993, yes, I agree.
Some of the earliest CGI, like kind of like heavily used in a film, like it stands up. Even the scene with the stampede in the field, like during daylight, that one's not bad.
Can I make an argument why I think it holds up better than even if you just go down the line to another monster mega visual effects, Titanic?
Sure.
Because it's not as much the background as it is the dinosaurs themselves that are the visual effect. So, like, our landscape is still pretty realistic in comparison to today when it's just green screen everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think that's why it maybe, I don't know, that's
because
my
we're used
hypothesis.
to seeing people in unnatural lighting, and instead it's just this lighting on the creatures a little off.
Yeah. It didn't hold up quite as well as I thought it was going to, but for 1993, it's still pretty amazing.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Having seen all these movies and knowing the pitfalls of morality, would you go to a real-life Jurassic Park if it opened?
Oh, this was a big topic. With the price point with right now, even with these movies, I would go upwards of $500 a day. That was my price point. I couldn't afford any more.
Yeah, but that makes sense. Most parks are around like 300 or something. Now, well, here's the big problem that I have. You have to get to Costa Rica. The price to get to the park is there's still travel price just to do this damn thing. It's like me being like, we're going to Disney, Euro Disney.
So I thought about that too.
Yeah, I got to get a passport.
We would go to it once it's more at a price point and in Orlando.
Yeah, we're doing it when they branch out and they get one here.
We're not going to go to the first one, but we're definitely going to see it when it comes stateside.
Yeah, okay, so that's the answer. So we will die when Jurassic World opens.
I think they were saying that they were going to charge maybe $1,000 to $2,000 a day.
Well, so the lawyer...
I'm not in at that point.
Well, the lawyer was throwing, the figures out.
Once Hammond opens up one in like LA, we'll go to that one.
Yeah, we're definitely 100%. Hitting the LA one for sure. And there's going to be a traveling. It's like, hey, I know you guys can't all make it to Costa Rica, but we're going to take these 2 dinosaurs
to an arena.
Yeah, there's a whole tour, yeah.
We already have that. We already have that. They're not real.
Easiest fix for Jurassic Park and all the problems that ensue.
Better gates?
Better gates, man. Better
gates.
That,
you know what? That is an animosity.
Just herbivores. Just herbivores. Don't make T-Rexes.
Yeah, but
don't make... Yeah, I know what you want to do.
When you watch the later movies, they're like, this is the only thing that sells tickets is teeth and claws. No one wants to see the...
Jordan, that's
just bullshit. We would all see a Triceratops. We'd all see it,
You want to see the killer whale at Shed Aquarium. You don't want to see just penguins and penguins.
Penguins and other fish.
You want to see the big shit.
I know, but like... You'd look at a penguin. I'm just saying.
Yeah, of course.
I'm glad we're talking about gates and the problem of. I did write this down. That the little boy in this movie should be dead a million times.
Oh yeah.
But specifically the electric fence. I did write this down.
If it's enough to take down a dinosaur, it should kill a little boy.
I don't have a lot of notes.
He goes through a lot of trauma.
10,000 volts. Okay.
Did you do some research and math?
A household Oh wait, no shit.
He's pouring through the
He
figures
might
right now.
he might stay alive. Here's why. Oh, I'm on the reverse. I think that would kill the kid, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think it would bring down a dinosaur because it's only 10,000 volts of electricity. A household plug is 120 volts, but a taser gun is only 50,000 volts. So I don't think we're bringing down any dinosaurs with 10,000 volts.
Well, let's just take this back to the T-Rex enclosure. The gate tapers off before the end of the tunnel. Like, there's even just a gap for him to walk by. Like, the fencing wasn't thought out. The raptors are kept in, like Menard's storage garage that you can buy for $1,000. Like, it's tiny.
I know, but you had to cut corners sometime, Cameron. I think there's stories of like...
He spared no expense, Jordan. He says it all the time.
Yeah, in his presentation to... I don't even know why he needs the scientific community to sign off on this.
Because someone just died, Jordan. He can't get insurance on this frickin' park.
They made like 8 raptors before they even like had proper fencing, before they even knew what they needed.
Like, oh, shit, we're going to need some fences. We got too many dinosaurs.
Yeah, really, this whole thing isn't a question of morality and should we. It's like, hey, you should have paid the IT guy more and not skimped on the fencing, John. That's the problem.
Yeah. Penny pincher John Hammond.
Again, the only reason, and it's not the storm, I've got to reiterate this for people who don't remember the plot that aren't just Mark, Cameron, and myself. Newman cut off the electricity. Newman's character, the IT guy. That's why we have all these problems.
Yeah,
it wasn't the storm. It was Newman.
I still thought he was like really trying to solve a problem here.
Yeah, I thought he was trying to save the park. We all did.
He was the problem, Mark. He was the problem.
So this is a trickle up Mount Rushmore. Between 1994 and 1996, I got 2 of those moments. It's this in Jurassic Park, the
Batman Forever.
And then it's Batman Forever. I believe it's again, And then I'm even going to throw Independence Day in there where... whatever the fuck is, they can't get in the alien.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
I always remember the Richie Rich one for some reason. Dad not found.
Dad not found. Oh,
Dad,
there we go.
Found.
Our 4 is done. Let us know your top 4 technological kickouts. I don't know. You guys know what we're talking about.
So 2 animosities. Number 1, when they're on the ride and they just lift the bars, clearly breaking the ride. I just bought this thing. You're gonna bust it like that and you walk off.
Whoa.
You're gonna die. You're gonna die on the track, like you're in like the carousel of progress, getting crushed in the walls. You can't do that.
You're just as likely to die getting off a ride as you were dinosaurs at that point.
Yeah, true.
You gotta adhere to the safety rules.
And animosity number 2.
And they jump out of the car like they're breaking rules all over the park.
Animosity number 2. I'm seeing a tour and I'm seeing one ride. This better not be an Animal Kingdom with nothing. This better not be an amusement park. You know, if I'm paying $500,
it is, Cameron. That's the thing.
I need at least 3 rides. Come on.
Actually, that didn't even occur to me, but now just in this moment, I do not want to go to Jurassic Park without rides.
Yeah,
I need rides. I can't just look at dinosaurs the whole time. Plus, you've all been to zoos. They're only out there for like 2 minutes a day.
Okay, minimum, I need 2 roller coasters, 1 water ride, and one of those swings that go up in the air, you know, on the chains.
A couple Dippin' Dots
yeah,
kiosks.
like a toboggan type ride. Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, that's all I'm looking for.
Actually, that's my biggest animosity now that I've heard it. It's not the murder. It's not the safety problems. It's that there's no roller coasters here.
Not a single
and
one.
that'd be the first thing I bring up to
Hammond.
I'd be like, where's
it's
all
a
the fucking rides,
crustacean period Epcot.
Oh, man. Don't give me...
I like Epcot, but
it's got.
I do want to say though, I mean, obviously it's a Spielberg movie, so like they definitely would nail it. But it looks the way they decorated and
the park,
the amusement park, it's perfect.
Yeah,
it's spot on.
Oh, also just as far
it
as
made me want to go get an overpriced lunch at an amusement park.
Yeah, well, you can definitely do that. As far as aesthetic, also though, off that, I love watching old 90s computer tech, and it gives me like, I don't know, a weird connection, but a similar vibe to 60s futuristic dream tech that we thought we would have. But I love old computer stuff.
It makes me in today's standards to be like, I am a god compared to you guys.
Yeah.
In the palm of my hand, it's like you don't know what you're dealing with.
But just Lex at the end going through that computer system map of like, oh, it's easy. You just have to go through this weird maze where the files are held.
Yeah, and it's like, but they it's weird that it was controlled by the computer, but they're like, but we're going to have to send Laura Dern in there to manually do everything, you know?
And I'm also,
like, I got the computer aspect, but
I'm also, okay, first off, I never understood as a kid that was Arnold, Samuel Jackson's arm in the generator room. And 2, it's kind of like vague when he goes there to die. Like they mentioned that someone needs to go like out to the pump generator room, but they kind of just gloss over him dying.
I assume we just missed some.
They cut right to, I believe them climbing the fence because he's like, oh, Arnold will go and turn on the power. I remember him fighting back a little bit and then being like, no, you guys go. I don't even remember him dying.
And it's Laura Dern even turning on the fence, so like he does nothing. He just,
yeah, I don't know why he's going there. Maybe he just, I don't know.
He got all the way there and in.
Yeah, and then died. He did not. Yeah, his whole thing was pointless.
Was there just a raptor in there? Like he ran into an issue.
Can I actually ask a question at this stage of the movie?
Sure.
I mean, before rewatching this, I'm like, oh, Laura Dern's got a limp when she runs from, the generator. Where's she hurt her leg? I watched for it this time. I don't see her hurt her leg at all.
I looked for it too, and it's indistinct for sure. You can
raptor attack, just
I think it's the raptor attack through because she definitely kicks
just
the door.
Off screen. She twisted her ankle, and we had to go with it.
I think she kicks the door, but yeah, maybe it is off screen.
On A Shining Unverified, Laura Dern says that she was actually terrified with that puppetry, and she cried after, like she cries during that filming, and continued after the camera stopped rolling because she was terrified.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a big animosity. When Sam Neill's with the boy, and the car is falling out of the tree. Tim.
He survives a crash from a car off a cliff into it. Yeah, that.
It's not only that. There's so many things wrong there. But why don't they just move to the right? Why do they try to
climb all the way down?
Car? That really pisses me off.
It's like in any movie when they're trying to outrun a tire. I'm like, jog 10 meters to the side, dummy.
Just move.
Yeah,
just move. It goes back to our
angle. Maybe just angle a little.
My favorite joke in Austin Powers when he's like, no, and you have so much time. They should have just moved to the left. Oh, biggest animosity, and this is, I'm going to call this the Cameron's dislike for Mitch and Dazed and Confused. I absolutely, from a kid to now, and I tried to shake it off because I'm 35.
Okay.
And the little girl in this is probably like 13. I hate her acting.
Oh. She
just breathes heavy and hyperventilates. It's too much.
Her scream,
you brought up
like
You brought up my next animosity. Lex is the worst. Pretty much the whole plot could be avoided if she wouldn't have turned on the fucking flashlight. Like, that's what caused the attack. Like, the T-Rex just would have walked by and they would have waited for the Jeep to come pick him up, and they
don't know. They don't know. I'm on her side here.
When is it ever a good idea to shine a light and wave it around when you're trying to be like lie low? Like, it's the dumbest thing to do.
Just for a second there, Lex.
And then also kind of funny, but an animosity. Malcolm and Grant take a long time after the Jeep gets attacked, or the compass or whatever it is, the car, until they intervene. Like, it gets hit, bit, flipped over, and then the head bashes through, and then they're like
just staring there for 5 minutes.
It's like 5 minutes of attack before they're
like,
like,
it's a T-Rex, but like they're just watching these kids getting ravaged by these.
Yeah, they either had to do something immediately or just stay in the car. They either had the right thing all along.
Well, they're gone.
Yeah, they're dead. Should have turned off the light, kid.
Yeah, they let it ride for a while. I mean, in their defense, they're not their kids.
That's
they're dinosaurs.
That's exactly
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean. And then once they go into action, Goldblum's like, "Hey, what are you doing here, Goldblum? You're gonna sacrifice yourself now?" It's like you already let him kind of get real smashed down.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
I have a big animosity with the first encounter of the dinosaurs they see when the John Williams score kicks in.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. They just get out of the car and are standing like a mere 50 feet away from the brontosaurus. Like, I get they might be harmless. We don't know. Like, what?
I have the same.
We know
way
they're
too
not
close.
meat
Way
eaters,
too
but
close.
there's still like 2 tons of something.
Right.
That could
It's
stomp
like
you.
standing.
They don't give a
I have
shit
that
about
same
an
complaint 2 other times when they see the Triceratops
up in the trees.
They're on a tour and they're already going through a dangerous dinosaur area, and they just hop right out of the car and just in those jeeps and go over to the dinosaur. Like, they're in a zoo enclosure. It's like getting out in those like big cat places. Like, it's still a tiger there. Like, stay in the car.
Yeah, if you ignore warning signs and you get eaten, that's kind of on you. I'm sure they didn't sign.
Hammond mentioned the locking mechanism. Like, that's
Muldoon. He's like, I've told you, we need locking mechanisms. Why would that not?
That's the easiest thing. That's the easiest
Write
thing.
down, say,
child safety
locking mechanisms. Good to know. This is why you do the dry run, Cameron. You got to find out where the problems are.
Okay, I think the biggest animosity of the entire movie, though, is at this point they already kind of suspected that dinosaurs were birds. Definitely thought they were lizards. Why did they use frog DNA as the splicer? Like, just a random other creature as the gap? Why wouldn't they use
plot point so they can make
so they can change sexes?
And a paleontologist knows that they can change sexes. Or who's the one who remembered that?
Grant's the one that's like, oh yeah, some frogs.
Yeah, like, how does he fucking
like,
know that?
Yeah, those scientists didn't think about that.
I think the answer to that is that's one of the 20% that they took from the original book. It was full of like sex-changing frog DNA shit. That was a big plot point in that book.
Well, funny enough, I think in the book it is a storm and not even corporate espionage. I think it's even simplified. I think they made it too much in the movie, maybe. But again, I haven't read it, so that's unverified.
Nedry's plan, I don't think would have even worked during the daytime.
Which
He
part?
wasn't even just the whole plan to steal espionage. Yeah, he didn't give.
Just like it was suspicious as fuck. All the cameras going down and the fences, and like it wouldn't have worked in the daytime. That little dinosaur is still
Here's
gonna
the deal.
fucking see him.
The tough part was just getting it out of.
Yeah, he didn't have to turn off
chamber.
any of the rest of security and
You're
electricity.
good.
Yeah, that was just a dick move that would have killed everybody.
Yeah,
Like he would have been
he
a
needed
murderer.
more than he needed.
I guess he got his though, didn't he?
Well,
didn't
true.
he get his?
Storm or not.
And I
just
thought he
didn't
was
work.
going to save the park or trying to help somebody, but it turns out it was just corporate espionage.
God, that was such a cool little can of Barbasol.
It really was, and it's the same can. They never changed design.
Yeah, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Not many companies do that.
I only have
You gotta
a
respect
few more
that.
comments, but animosity when we hit Dr. Hammond, the phones are working. When they finally get a hold of him, when the door locks, you hear Ellie yell, "Oh my God, it's trying the window!" And then you hear Grant shooting a shotgun at the window before it jumps in. So that's animosity number one. Why would you preemptively shoot at the window that's being your safeguard? Number two, he has a shotgun and it leaves like a bullet hole in that glass. He's loading shotgun shells. If anything, it's a slug, it'll leave a big hole, or bird shell, it'll leave a scatter shot. But it doesn't make sense at all.
He's shooting a 22.
Yeah, but it just doesn't match up whatsoever. And I'm not like a gun nutter expert, but I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Sounds like you are, Cameron.
I mean,
Sounds like you're more than
Protect that
working
second
on
I've
it.
seen enough
Yeah.
action movies to know a shotgun shell and what it does. I mean,
Don't tread on Cameron.
don't tread on me.
If we're talking shotguns, I just got to go to the clever. What's the clever girl, guys?
Clever
Muldoon.
girl.
Muldoon's maybe the best one-liner in this whole movie. It's not even close. As much as I love that's one big pile of
He
shit,
has that
it's-
thing too. He has a bit of that speech at the beginning.
Did you say that's the best line in the movie?
I just love I love that clever girl line.
It is
might be my
good, yeah.
favorite. Must Go Faster is probably more important. Welcome to Jurassic Parks, and then of course we all love that's one big pile of shit. But clever girl. Like,
Hold on
that's
to your
one
butt
of
still is above must go faster.
those. Hold on to your butts.
I feel like we have to point out that Muldoon has some jacked thighs and some short shorts. He has a get
What do you guys think about that? I'm pro it.
If you're
Bring it
hunting
back.
big game, you need to be able to get to a low crouch. You can't have
Jack
shorts.
thighs or the outfit?
I love the outfit. Well, both.
All the above. I mean, if you're gonna have that, I'd prefer to see jack thighs.
Yeah.
High socks. What do you think?
Got to be protective. It's a jungle scenario.
I liked Grant's bandana.
Yeah.
It's almost like an ascot situation.
Got to be protective of the sun. They all have
Denim.
practical uses, guys.
Very practical.
Can I pull off an ascot?
No one can.
Okay, well that hurt. I just told you could wear a linen suit. Maybe throw a bone this way.
Now you could at least lie to
Jesus.
him.
My last question: how'd that T-Rex sneak in the visitor center? at
That's
the
a
end?
big one. I did write that down because it used to cause an earthquake just about an hour ago.
Yeah, and then all of a
and
sudden,
then it just tiptoed into the
t-
tiptoed right in. I guess
trickle
the
down
argument
unverified,
there.
the skeleton falling, the T-Rex skeleton was the original ending, killing the raptors, and it fell on them. But Spielberg wanted the T-Rex to be the hero and get it in the movie one more time, so he changed that,
Well,
and that
and
was the last thing they had to reshoot.
It's maybe one of the most classic
Yeah,
scenes
it's
with
iconic.
the banner falling and the big roar.
Yeah.
It's classic.
I think that alone got them 4 sequels and
Yeah.
2 sequels and a reboot. I think it's that moment. It got you a whole ride at Universal Studios.
Sure did.
We should do Mount Rushmore theme park
park
attraction
Spielberg
rides. That's
rides.
on there. You
Yeah,
got
that'd be
that.
good,
You got
actually.
E.T.
Jurassic Jaws.
Did you
Jaws?
guys notice what Nedry was drinking at his desk?
It was weird.
did
It was
not.
a jolt.
It was Jolt.
Yeah.
What?
It was Jolt Cola, yeah.
Holy shit!
I did because
Shout out.
there
to
was a period
that.
of time we
Throwback.
got real into Jolt Cola in high school.
We liked the blue one.
The blue one tastes like slushy. It was good. That's all the notes I had. You guys have anything else?
I have one last question. Is Hammond just like pounding a shit ton of ice cream at the end because he's stressed
Yep.
out?
Weird scene.
He's like beside himself. It's when it's like in Titanic when he knows the ship is sinking.
We have to get the weird dialogue in there. We have to get the what's the looking what I'm looking for when you have to have key points as dialogue. Use this phrase all the time. Shit.
Oh yeah, I'm blanking on it now.
Come on,
It's
Director Jordan. Come on
Exposition.
now.
We have to get the
exposition.
We
Yeah,
have to get the exposition
it's a
out of the
complete
way.
exposition scene.
Well-
but even with that exposition, it's weird that they're just splitting like 4 gallons of ice cream.
Yeah, they're hammering
And
his
there's
ice
a lot of important stuff going on right now. They're just taking
People
a
are
moment for
dying. You
themselves.
never asked
Not
why,
only people,
John.
your grandkids are dying. But I think he's probably more importantly your theme park dream is dying.
Last thing
Did
I'll
you
tell
want
you about
Rocky
my biggest.
Road, or did you want the Neapolitan?
This is good. It's very good.
It is good.
I'll tell you my biggest animosity with that. She's at the end of like a long ass table, and then it cuts to her all of a sudden having a spoon and eating ice cream when all of it's away from her still. It's just a continuity error, but it bothers me. She acts like she just reached in front of her, but there's nothing there.
Yeah, it's a long table. It did make me want to go to, and you told me this was closed, maybe a Rainforest Cafe.
Well, the one
near
downtown
you?
closed.
Oh. Okay. I think that's got. Oh, I do have one last animosity. And again, I thought the movie ended with like pterodactyl type dinosaur birds flying away, but I think they're just real birds.
They're seagulls.
Telling us they're the same.
As a kid,
did you guys? Is this a Mandela effect?
it is, because as a kid, I remember pterodactyls flying away too.
I was positive there were pterodactyls flying away.
Yeah, that's what I thought as a kid, but it's totally seagulls now.
That might be in
go.
the second or third movie.
There might be a scene, but I did remember that as a kid, funny enough, and I was like, I guess I'm off on that one. If you were older than 3 or 5 and actually understood the plot points, let us know some things you actually thought about the movie, but we're going to move on to recasting. Recasting. Let's start this at the bottom of the totem pole. Anyone else do Muldoon?
I did not have one. Do you have a Muldoon?
I did a Muldoon.
Who'd you do?
Neeson.
Okay, that works for me. I did Hugh Jackman just to keep it Australian.
Nice. I could see that.
I'm fine with that.
Did anybody do Arnold, Samuel Jackson's character?
Only one I didn't really do.
I did not do him as well.
I like mine, Jeffrey Wright. He plays Bernard on Westworld.
I just don't know if he can pull off a cigarette work that well, but...
Yeah, he can. He smokes in Westworld.
Yeah, I know, but that was second level. All right, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with... No, that one's good. He's like the scientist. That's the role he plays all the time.
Thank you.
That's the role he plays in Westworld.
Did you guys go with Lois Gennaro?
No, I did not do Gennaro. I missed the lawyer, but I should have done him.
This is all looks based, and it's a perfect David Strathairn. Strathairn. We Are Marshall, that guy.
He is in A League of Their Own. He's the public relations guy.
It's uncanny how much they look alike.
Well, mine's not good, but I got Edward Norton vibes real hard.
That's actually not bad to me.
This is a trickle down animosity.
The older the better.
He's wearing shorts with his suit, and I don't like it at all. I don't like it.
I just like him at the very beginning getting towed across the river in the Dominican Republic or wherever they're at. Yeah,
off the cuff for the lawyer guy who's Big Lebowski. He plays the Jesus and like
John Turturro.
Yeah,
Turturro,
I'm going Turturro there.
I'm fine with that.
Let's do Nedry Newman from Seinfeld.
I actually have a good one. This is the only one I feel good about. John Goodman would kill that role.
I kind of like that.
Kill
it. That a lot.
Like that might be the only. He would kill that. I feel good about that one.
Shout out to Chris Reimer. I watched it with him. He did Jonah Hill, and I'm stealing it. Someone a little quippier, maybe more modern.
You. Chubby Jonah Hill, obviously.
Either or, I'll take it. We don't have to.
I did a more stonery kind of Twister-esque Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I can't
always
go wrong
love him
with
when
that.
he's in there.
I just plus he was an all-time background.
A little more slimy Philip Seymour Hoffman, kind of.
I like that a lot.
I'm totally cool with that. Let's get the kids out of the way because kid actors don't matter to me. I don't watch.
Yeah. I did Elijah Wood, Kirsten Dunst. Along.
Okay, I did Kirsten Dunst and I did Eric Lloyd, the Santa Claus kid.
Oh, I actually really like Kirsten Dunst. I think that's a winner there.
I would have liked it quite a bit better than this chick. God,
Thora Birch from Hocus Pocus, the little girl.
Okay.
Maybe a little older, and then Charlie Corsmo from Hook.
Okay.
Kid from Hook.
Nice. All right, so we're all
kept it in the universe. Let's do Dr. Malcolm Goldblum. I mean,
I've got a good one. I went to our Holy Trinity.
Yeah,
it's got Nicolas Cage written all over it.
That's what I did. It has to be someone who's a little. It was such a weird performance and options that you got.
The energy was off, but it was completely right.
You got to give it someone else around the same age group that also would make some weird character choices.
Yeah,
I am torn between two. I might as well just say them both. I've got George Clooney written down, and I also have Matthew McConaughey written down.
McConaughey's got the vibe, I think, better.
Yeah, so McConaughey then.
Let's do Hammond. Who'd we do as the old man, evil scientist? Well, mogul, not scientist. Mine's chalk. I'm just going to get mine out of the way. I did Anthony Hopkins. I do him for a lot of these kind of roles.
Damn, that's better. Mine's dumb, but I was really struggling with this. I went Mickey Rooney.
Yeah.
Just what weird little hobby guy.
That's a
No. Anthony Hopkins is obviously perfect.
I do them all the time, though. Mark, who'd you have?
Morgan Freeman.
Ooh, I like Morgan Freeman. I did think about him.
That works
Pull
for
off
me.
a linen suit as well.
Yeah, I like Morgan Freeman. That works for me.
Doesn't understand the power he has in his hands.
Let's move it on to the main two. Who'd you have as Ellie? I like
Mickey
mine a lot.
Rooney sucks so bad.
Yeah, it really was bad.
Take it out. I'm gonna go with.
Keep it in. I had Helen
I
Hunt.
gotta go.
Oh, Helen Hunt works.
I definitely thought of Helen Hunt, and I recast this. I went Julianne Moore, and that's before I saw that she was in the second one.
Oh.
But I still feel it.
Hear me out. Uma Thurman.
Yeah, all of these work.
All right,
Cool,
let's move it
cool,
on to the main character. Grant. Who'd you have as Grant?
I did an uninspired Pierce Brosnan.
Okay, that kind of works. Someone else who would maybe struggle doing an American accent.
I guess I can hear that now. I think about it now.
Funny enough, I think, again, trickle down and verified, but I think he lied to Spielberg saying, of course I can do an American accent, then got there and everyone was like, what are you doing?
It's got real Dante's Peak vibes, this character.
I'm realizing now I'm just casting just
Sequels.
making this a cast of Twister, and I just did Bill Paxton. And
Hey,
Helen Hunt.
don't
can't go
hate it.
right. I'll throw in Bill Pullman as well. Why the fuck not? Let's do it.
I don't know how I feel about mine, but I did John Cusack.
Oh, that could work. I don't
Okay.
like it as much as any of ours. I don't know
Yeah,
why. But
me either, but it works in there. Let us know who you would have had as your recasting. But let's move
how about John Lithgow? I need to up my old man actors.
as
Hammond.
Better Mickey Rooney though.
Yeah, no, that's still too no. Maybe it's like he'd be the lawyer. Maybe let us know online what you thought of our recasting. But we're going to move it on to Mount Rushmore top 4.
Top 4. Mickey Rooney's awful.
Mount Rushmore top 4. Welcome to Mount Rushmore. This week we're doing older movies whose special effects still hold up because Jurassic Park, it still holds up. Let's have Jordan, Mark, and then me go. Jordan, you go first. What's the number 1 movie?
I'm gonna give a real kind of snooty answer, but it's because I think the one I'm gonna go with will get said. So I'm gonna say this because I want it to be heard. Citizen Kane is amazing what they did in that. I know it's not computer animation, but
look at me, Citizen Kane.
shut up. All right. I assume you're gonna do Cars 2. Is that right? Sorry. I don't know.
No, there were a few older movies on there where it's not necessarily maybe special effects hold up, but like they were groundbreaking for their time.
No,
and
what he does though
and
is
it doesn't take you out of the story.
He recreates half of a frame and splices the actual frame with historical footage, and it's amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
It's completely held up. Like, it might have held up as good as anything on this list. So I'm going to go Citizen Kane.
That's a good
Fuck
answer.
me.
Mark, what do you got?
I'm realizing a lot of my list is that the Spielbergian.
Honestly, a
can't
lot of
go
mine,
wrong.
a lot of mine was Spielberg. Cameron.
I'm gonna go E.T.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, again, puppetry. Anything with puppetry is gonna be classic.
Yeah.
I'm keeping mine in a similar area. I'm going Apollo 11. I've been preaching this forever, but even the graphics in that.
You mean Apollo 13?
Oh, sorry,
right?
Apollo 13. God, autocorrect. I will just read things verbatim. I'm going Apollo 13. I've said this a bunch, but granted, a lot of his practical effects, they were in the vomit comment, but even the CGI holds up in that movie. It's not bad.
I think that's a wildly underrated movie that even the ending and it still delivers. Such a good fucking movie. So I'm surprised nobody said this, so I'm going to go ahead with an honorable mention that I almost said. Forrest Gump still holds up pretty well.
Oh, I
the
just
mouths
watched
are
it.
a little weird, but it's still pretty good.
Funny enough, I just watched it and I'm like, these look like thumb movies now. Their mouths just are not matching up as much as
Take away the mouse and then it's okay.
This was on a lot of lists, but I agree. Terminator 2, Judgment Day, especially with like the T2000. That one's terrifying with the liquid stuff.
Yeah, the liquid stuff, that computer animation doesn't, like, it's not as good as you remember, but it doesn't distract from the movie. It's still fucking awesome.
No, I agree.
God, that's such a good movie.
This has a caveat, but Star Wars, before George Lucas started editing them, when they were still in the 70s and they just had the basic effects, they were golden. They were mint, baby. Now
But
it has
on the
90s CGI in there and it looks like shit.
On the flip side, the remastered version is just so wildly distracting. I'd
Oh.
rather just make Jar Jar Binks appear. At least give him some lines. Make him part of the fucking movie, because I don't even get why we have lizards in the foreground.
To also seem cool like you, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Kubrick. I mean, that's just a good space effects movie.
That's all practical effects, and that may be the best practical effects ever done. It's so crazy what they did. And this is before we actually landed on the moon, and that's why some people think he shot the
one that
moon
did it.
landing. So if he did, way to go to get the best, you know?
We really did. Also, just on special effects, but just like horror movie, American Werewolf in London, that's always touted as having the best werewolf transformation. Also, The Thing by Carpenter, that for special effects, people always talk about. Maybe not believable, but, well, practical.
What I think so good about this, though, is it did have, obviously, CGI effects, but it didn't ruin the rewatching of it that so many other movies do.
Agreed.
That rely so heavily on it. I guess we got to put, what do you think about this? I don't think it's probably as good as Remember, but I got to put Toy Story 1 on there. This is the first like fully computer animated movie.
Yeah, but any of those are just, because it's...
All right, so shut up, Jordan. Okay, I missed
No, we're doing claymation and stop motion where we draw the line in the sand.
Then I totally missed it, and I apologize to you listeners and Cameron and Mark personally. My bad. I'm going with Citizen Kane. Check it out. Is it worth a rewatch? Hell, I don't know, but does it stand up? Pretty good.
Well, that was our list for Mount Rushmore. Let us know what you think the fourth one should be. Thanks for listening to our take on Jurassic Park. If you like what you heard, make sure you like and subscribe on your favorite podcast apps.
Give us some ratings. Give us some likes. Write a kind review. Those would help us out a lot. If you listen to it and you like it, let us know.
If you want more material from the network, make sure you check out everything from Majestic Jam, Urban Hermit, I'm Not Crazy. And until then, we'll check you on the next one.